We've all heard horror stories about people who wake up one day with so much pain in their neck that they can't turn their head, and it just happens to be during one of the most important projects of their life. Or people who've been looking forward to running their first marathon or other really important event for months, only to be knocked out with injury 2 weeks before the big day. Now, these injuries often seem like they're coming out of nowhere. But more often than not, actually, our body's been sending us signals and slowly getting tighter and slowly getting more tense over a period of days, weeks, months, and sometimes even years. But we're so socialized to not notice in our body what's going on until it's really significant that we miss these little signals. So in today's video, I want to walk you through some ways that you can get better connected to your body so that you can notice what's going on, and also encourage you to start using a broader vocabulary when it comes to the sensations that you feel. This not only is going to help you notice when things are starting to get bad before they're a serious problem, but it's also going to make you better equipped to talk to people when you go to a massage therapist or a physio or your doctor to explain what's going on with you. And it's the perfect bridge from our Mindful About Your Body March to a How to Be Your Own Advocate April. Yes, I do love alliteration. So this may be a little bit longer than usual, but I think it's going to be helpful to anybody who wants to avoid injury and improve their performance long term and have a better connection to their body. So let's dive in. Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the principal therapist and founder of Layton Sports Massage, a clinic, an award-winning clinic in East London. I have this channel to help you live your life and enjoy your favorite activities as pain-free as possible. Now, I see it all the time. I see people come in and they all of a sudden can't raise their arm above their head, or all of a sudden can't turn their head, or all of a sudden their calf has just gone and it's only a couple of weeks till marathon, and they're desperate to figure out what they could do. Now, the problem with this scenario is that most of the time it's avoidable. Yes, there are some situations where it's just random something, like when you randomly get frozen shoulder or you randomly get a muscle tear. But more often than not, when we start working with people's bodies, we can feel that there's been tension building up for ages. It's just that they didn't notice. Now, for a lot of people, this feels unfair. It's like, well, if I wasn't getting signals from my body, how am I supposed to know there's a problem? But the thing is, you have been getting signals from your body. Your body has been telling you. It's just in our society, we're supposed to ignore our body until it screams at us, which means it tries to get along and does the best it can to adapt to what we're giving it. We end up ignoring most of the signals. And like I say to my clients, your body will eventually make you listen. So the earlier you listen, the better. And I think there's a quote from one of my favorite books, The Big Leap, and it says, the universe will make you listen with a feather or a hammer, and it's your choice. And I say the same thing about the body. Your body will make you listen either with a hammer or a feather. You just decide how you're going to listen. And with this improved awareness has to come a better vocabulary for how to describe what's going on with our body. So when I say to clients, tell me about your pain, they'll say, oh, I don't have pain. I have discomfort. I have an ache. I have tiredness. All of that counts as signals from your body that something's going on. So when I say pain to a client, I mean anything that's less than ideal, right? And all of those things mean something different. So let's talk about the ways that you can get better in touch with your body. Now, number one, a niggle is not to be ignored. So what I see a lot of the time is I have people come in, and maybe they come in for maintenance once a month and they go, oh, well, my knee was hurting a couple of weeks ago, but it went away, so I think it's okay. No. A niggle is a sign that there's something going on. If it goes away, it means your body can handle it for now, but it's like your body raising its hand and going, hey, there's something going on over here that you need to have a look at. Now, my clients who've been with me for a while know that these things need to be looked at. We usually go into it, we find that there's something going on, we're able to address it, and then they can go back, and then they not only don't have a niggle anymore, but their performance is better. So what a lot of people don't realize is that actually when you're carrying muscle tension, it like too much muscle tension, right? Because you're supposed to have some tension in your muscles. But when you have an excess of muscle tension, you're heavier, you're slower, all of your movements take more work. I mean, so many first-time appointments of ours stand up and they say, I feel like I've lost a stone, or it's like 14 pounds for people who don't know stones. It's an English thing. They feel lighter because all of a sudden, all of this muscle tension that they were having to pull against is gone. But because it happens incrementally, you don't notice. So the point is, for number one, if you have a niggle and it goes away, don't ignore it. Check into it, see what's going on. Sometimes it could just be like a stress thing, or it could just be like a weird thing that day. But I would say 8 times out of 10, there's actually some tension in there. There's actually some sort of imbalance, something that needs attention. And your body's letting you know. It's like saying, hey, this is a problem. I can handle it for now, but just wanted to let you know. And if you address it, then it won't keep coming back. Because what happens to the niggles that you don't deal with is they come back more frequently and they take longer to go away until it doesn't go away. And so if you've seen my water bucket analogy post and video, which I will link to in the comments, you'll see that we hear a lot. People have said that they've had it before, but it's always gone away, and this time it hasn't gone away. It's almost always the same thing. It's just that finally it didn't go away. The second thing that you can do to be better in touch with your body is to regularly go through range of movement tests. Here's the thing. Our body is actually really helpful. It wants us to do everything that we want to do. So if it has some tension or some problem and it can adjust around it, it will do it without us even noticing. So I actually have clients come in and I'm like, okay, well, let's turn your head. And they go to turn their head and then the rest of their shoulders, and they go like that. And then obviously I have to hold their shoulders so that they can rotate. And then they get about here and they go, oh, that's painful. And the reason that they don't know it's painful is because their body has automatically started turning their shoulders before they hit that pain point. Or we get people who've changed the way they put on their coat so that they don't have to lift their arm up and they don't even notice. And so then we say, okay, lift your arms. And they go like this. And they're like, oh, I can't get any farther. And they genuinely didn't notice, because this is your body trying to be helpful. It's your body trying to say, look, we got this, we can do it. So if you can go through a range of motion test, even if it's just once a week through all of your major joints and just see how everything's feeling, you can start to notice if things are feeling a little bit off. So range of movement tests you can do. You can do a neck rotation. You can do it in a mirror. So you're holding your shoulders and make sure they don't move. You can do them in front of someone like your partner or friend. You can do arms out to the head. It's a good one. And over. You want to look at, are your arms both on the side of the head? Are they forward? Is there any pain or discomfort in the movements? Are your shoulders coming up? You can do knee lifts. That's looking for stability, but also does your leg feel heavy? Does one feel heavier than the other? You can do a forward bend. Do it carefully, though, if you have a history of back problems. Just see how tight your hamstrings feel, or your calves, or your lower back. Maybe have somebody look at you and see if you're going off to one side. If you're a runner, you can bend your ankles and lift your heels, not at the same time. So you bend your ankles and then come back up to normal and then lift your heels. And with this, just see, like, do you have any discomfort in your calves, in your feet, in your knees, in the front of your shin? Now, if you're not sure which range of movement tests to do, you can leave a comment for me and kind of say the kind of stuff that you do, the sport that you're into, or the job that you do, for what you should check. Or if you're in London, you can always book in a session with us and we can do an MOT and we can have a look at your posture and we can do a couple of movements. Doing these range of movement tests will start to give you a baseline. So even if the first thing there's no problem, you might do it once a week and then a month later you notice that your knees feel a little bit heavier than they did the last time you did it, or that your left shoulder's clunking and it didn't before. Those kinds of changes are signs that something's happening, that there's some sort of tension building or some sort of imbalance. And if you can notice them, the earlier you get it worked on, the better. Now, almost every time I see a new client, they need a few sessions, because almost every time I see a new client, they've waited until it's really bad to get help. But every once in a while, I see somebody who literally just felt a niggle and came in. And I actually had somebody like that a year ago. And they came in and they said, yeah, I just had a little niggle in my shoulder and I just thought I'd get it checked. And her back felt amazing. And I was like, you are the first person I've seen in like 3 years who's come the first time they had a problem. You don't need more than one session. You should be good with this. And I gave her a stretch and I sent her on her way because it hadn't been building up. So if you can catch things earlier, you can actually save yourself a lot of money over the long term for help, because it's not going to take as much effort, usually. Now, honestly, if you do 1 and 2, you will be in such better shape than other people already. Just getting something checked when you have a niggle and doing a regular range of movement test is fantastic. The next thing that you can do, and this is one of the laziest ones, so it's one of my favorites, is you can do a body scan. So we have a meditation mindfulness video that talks about body scan in more detail, and I'll link it below, with Anjali Tilley from Dedicate and Meditate here in Walthamstow/Leighton. But basically, what I like to do is I like to lay in my bed before I fall asleep, flat on my back, no pillow, so my body's totally along the mattress. And I like to just scan my body. And I might start from my head and work my way down. I might start from my toes and work my way up. And I'm just checking, does anything feel stuck or congested or uncomfortable or kind of tense? Like, you know, that feeling of like, I just can't relax, I just can't let go. Sometimes you get that in your muscles. And I actually have a post about 4 positions that you can put yourself into in bed that stretch out your body. So gentle stretch on the neck, gentle stretch on the shoulders, gentle stretch on the lower back, gentle stretch on the hips. Don't do that one if you have any sort of excess hypermobility or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, because that won't be good for you. But if you don't have hypermobility, or you have very light hypermobility, those positions can help stretch you out in bed. But it just gives you this sense of, you know, where are things going on in my body? What's different? It connects you to your body. And the more connected you are to your body, the earlier you notice imbalances, which is the main thing here. And then the last thing that I would like to suggest to you is to regularly engage in some sort of activity that brings an awareness to your body. So as a massage therapist, obviously one of my favorites is a maintenance massage. We see people once a month. And the best maintenance massage is when people come in and they say, yeah, I don't really feel anything. Like, I think I'm fine. And then we work on them and we find the tension and we find the imbalances and we release those muscles and they get up and they feel lighter and freer and like they have better movement. But if massage isn't your thing, or you'd like to do something else, yoga is another great way to do that. Now, the reason that I love yoga for this is I find that by putting yourself in these different positions, I will do yoga and I will do one position and it will feel fine. And then I'll do it the other way and I'll be like, oh, my side is really tight in this position. Like, oh, I didn't realize that my calf was so tight. Because when we're doing our normal stretches, we tend to just be going through our normal, okay, this is the usual thing, blah, blah, blah. We're not challenging ourselves to be in different positions that will bring us a better awareness. Now, obviously, there are some contraindications for yoga, so make sure that you're doing it with someone who can adjust your positioning and make sure that you're doing it safely. But it's another great activity to help you feel what's going on with your whole body and sense your alignment. And when you go and see someone for a regular maintenance session, whether it be massage or osteopathy or physio or whatever you do, the better vocabulary that you can have, the more helpful it will be to the person that you're seeing. You know what? Actually, I think that would be better off in a different video. So I will end it now with these 4 tips to be better connected to your body so you can prevent problems earlier. And we will do the next video on how to explain what's going on in your body. And I hope that what you've learned today especially is that pain is not the only marker of something going wrong. It being heavier, or it being less smooth, or it being not as easy, or you compensating are all signs that there's something going on that might need to be addressed. Because if you wait for the pain signal, it's often going to be later than it could have been to get it looked at. Okay, so I hope these tips make it much easier for you to be connected to your body and avoid injury and have success in whatever it is you're doing, whether it's a big project at work or an event coming up. Definitely let me know in the comments what you think. If you're trying any of these range of movement exercises, or if you notice something in your body and you're not sure what it could mean, or if you have any questions at all. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, and do the little notifications button so you know when we have a new video coming up. And that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.